Take a break from your busy schedule and join Harold Sala for Guidelines, a 5-minute commentary on living.
Happy, grouchy, could be your genes. So says the topic of an article featuring the research of psychologists at the University of Illinois. Says Daniel Goldman, studies of happiness in several countries have found that money makes very little difference to perceptions of happiness except among the very poor. Nor do education, marriage and a family, or any of the many other variables that researchers have sought to correlate with contentment. Each facilitator may make a person a little happier, but it has a minor impact compared with the individual's characteristic sense of well-being. In the study which a husband and wife team of psychologists did, research determined that about half of your ability to be happy comes from your heredity, the other half from your environment. The study included identical twins, some of whom were raised together and some who were raised apart from each other. Yet, according to Edward and Carol Diener, there was little difference in the well-being of the twins. Neurologists, whose specialty is the brain, have located a spot in the brain where pleasure or happiness is registered. They have also discovered that unhappiness seems to be registered in the prefrontal lobes of the brain. Individuals with depression seem to have more activity on the right frontal lobe of the brain. So where do we go from here? Most people laud the progress that has been made in better understanding our brains, especially the relationship of our emotions to our brains. Perhaps better understanding will eventually result in being better able to help unhappy people. Yet everyone is born with a certain genetic disposition. Happy babies are usually the product of happy parents. But the issue which totally consumes me is this: can unhappy people be transformed into happy people who have something to live for, something worthwhile to do, and something to look forward to doing? Those are three of the ingredients that make your life worth living. There is a factor which secular research usually doesn't recognize. It is the God factor, the change which comes to those who do an about-face and begin to live for something and for someone. Take, for example, the late Malcolm Muggeridge, the sharp-tongued editor of Punch magazine. He was described as a cynic, a skeptic, a liberal, and a brilliant man of letters. In World War II, involved in British intelligence, Muggeridge was stationed in Mozambique. He was depressed and decided to end his life. His plan was to start swimming out into the ocean and not come back. Something happened, though, something that changed his life. A bright light appeared before him. He didn't understand it. He only knew God was there, and God wasn't ready to see him end it all. Then this cynical, sharp-tongued, never quite happy fellow met Mother Teresa. He never spoke of it as a conversion, but that's what happened. His life got turned around. He became a Christian and wrote about the regret that he had in not making his discovery before. You were born with a certain disposition, and the transformation of conversion will not change you into a different personality type, but will radically change your outlook on life. Muggeridge is simply one of millions who can say, "When I found God, He changed my life, and I wouldn't go back for all the gold in the world." The researchers are right. Winning the lottery, seeing your dream come true, that's a little bit, but the God factor changes it forever.
You've just heard Dr. Harold Sala with Guidelines, a 5-minute commentary on living. If you would like to listen to the program again, download a copy, subscribe to our e-commentary, or view other resources, visit guidelines.org. We would like to hear from you too. You can email us at info@guidelines.org. That's info@guidelines.org. Thanks for listening, and we invite you to join us again for the next edition of Guidelines.